Yo, yo, what's up, guys? It's Cohen back here again today with another video, and I just wanted to make a quick thing. Normally, this video would come probably a little bit later after the game's finished up, but there's not a lot of interesting things going on with the games today. There were a bunch of blowouts, like for most of the games. The Sixers didn't have many players for the reason I'm about to get into. Um, Magic got blown out by the Bucks. Hornets, Gordon Hayward went nuts, blew out the Knicks. So not great games tonight. Right now going on, we have the Trailblazers and Raptors are playing, and then the Pacers and Kings are playing. Sabonis is playing really well. Shout out to Pascal Siakam. He's having a great comeback. He started off pretty poor this season, but he's put together like a really good 4 game stretch, even with the whole last night thing where he did the spin move on the game winner attempt, which probably is not what you should do. But it's whatever. He's been playing really well, averaging like well over 20 points per game. His shooting percentages have really come up, which was a big worry. Already he's on triple double watch after like 1 quarter of play. He's got I think like 12, 7, and 5. So shout out to Pascal Siakam for that. I think he deserves some praise after getting a lot of hate. I think some people take the memes a little too seriously. I don't think people hate Pascal Siakam. I think people just love. He's really memeable in some instances, like the whole spin move thing. And I think some people just get like a little upset about that sometimes, which I get. I wouldn't want to see all my favorite players memed, even though I get the memes, like it happens. Anyways, what I really want to get into is the whole COVID thing, specifically the health and safety protocols, the fact that we've had multiple games canceled now this season, other than just a Thunder game, which is very different. Usually it's just Thunder games that seem to have been gotten canceled in the past. So the Celtics and Heat game yesterday got canceled because the Heat did not have enough roster or have enough players to fill out their roster for the game. You need 8 healthy players, and they did not have that many due to some injuries and due to COVID like contact tracing. So what that means is that their players were in close proximity with people who have either tested positive or who were also in close proximity to other people who did test positive. It's like a long chain of stuff. And the NBA is trying to figure out what to do because right now it looks like the season doesn't look like it's in jeopardy, but it looks like that something needs to change or it's going to quickly become in jeopardy because you've got hella teams that are all struggling with COVID. You've got the Celtics. Jason Tatum's out for a bit. Like half their roster wouldn't be ready to go if they did play the Heat yesterday. They were gonna have to start like Tremont Waters, Peyton Pritchard. It was gonna have to be like a bunch of rookies, which the Sixers had to do a couple days ago. By the way, it's really BS that the Sixers had to play the other day. I know that you have to have 8 players, but they only had 7 actual healthy players. Mike Scott was not able to play with an injury. He just dressed out so that they could play the game. And shout out to the Sixers for manning up, deciding to take that challenge. Tyrese Maxey balled out. The Sixers kind of had to do something similar today where they don't have many players, so they lost to the Hawks pretty badly. Tyrese Maxey played well. They did have Joel Embiid, which was nice, but they were missing like Ben Simmons, Tobias Harris, Shake Milton, Seth Curry. They're missing way too many pieces to make that a competitive game against a pretty good Hawks team. So I just want to give a shout out to the Sixers. And they also got fined 25K today for Ben Simmons being hurt, which was also BS because he was hurt. He's still getting treatment currently, whatever. But I just kind of want to talk about what I would do if I were the league or what I think the league should do. They've discussed a bunch of different options. They've discussed possibly like a 1 to 2 week shutdown period so that they could shut down, let cases chill out and try and put together better protocols. And I don't think that's necessarily a bad idea. I think that would probably give them time to set up better protocols. It would give them time to figure out where all these cases are coming from. I don't know if anyone else has noticed this. Actually, I know people have noticed this because I put it on Twitter. But at 3_Cone on Twitter, go check me out if you haven't. And the Wizards haven't had really any positive tests. But every time a team plays the Wizards, they get a positive test. That happened to the Bulls, the Sixers, the Celtics, and now the Heat. All 4 of those teams, and the Nets, I believe. All those teams have had positive tests after facing the Wizards, but the Wizards, for some reason, haven't had any positive tests. So I don't know what's going on there. I don't know if Scott Brooks is doing the testing, and that's another reason why he should be fired. But for some reason, the Wizards are infecting everyone. I don't know what it is. So that's just a conspiracy theory I want to put over on the side. Maybe the Wizards just need to leave the league, or maybe Scott Brooks is administering these tests to try and save his job. Be like, oh, it's not my fault, whatever. Anyways, so I think that the league should consider that option of the 1 to 2 week recess. It's possible, but just roster or protocol wise, I guess you have to limit the amount of contact they have with other players outside the game. It's hard to limit contact with players because basketball is a very contact sport. So you can't really make it so that players never come in contact with each other, or otherwise the games just can't be played. You can't make them wear masks because these are like super physical games. Players are playing hella minutes, and if you're wearing a mask, it's just not going to work. I think it's just too much work, and it's going to really hinder the players. Like, I don't know if you've ever tried to sprint around for 38 minutes against world class athletes with a mask on. I haven't, but it sounds like hell. So I'm not. I don't wouldn't want to make the players do that. COVID testing, like the prevalence testing, clearly isn't working. It's like something needs to change there. I don't know whether it's test more frequently or what. I mean, in an ideal world, the players would get vaccinated at some point, but I'm sure some players might not want to do that. And I don't know how quickly that's going to be readily available. You have to get to frontline workers, stuff like that. There's more important things in sports when considering a COVID vaccine. You have to get it to the people who are more vulnerable than world class athletes who, if they catch COVID, they're probably going to be fine. There's going to be some symptoms, but they're not at much risk of these larger and more fatal issues that some older people are, and like some of these frontline healthcare workers. So you have to prioritize those people as much as we would love to see like a COVID-free basketball world. It's probably not coming anytime soon. And with that, I think on the whole concept of putting in another bubble, there's no chance. Like, there's no way in hell another bubble comes up because the players weren't a huge fan of it in terms of the fact that you had to be away from your family, you had to be isolated, you couldn't go anywhere, you couldn't travel. And I like players don't like having to travel in between games and stuff, but getting out of or being stuck in one city for a long time without any friends or family or anything like that, it's really tough. And you got to remember they are people too, these athletes. So I doubt they'd want to be huddled up like that for that long. So you can't make them go back to a bubble. I don't think it's going to work. It would cost the NBA way too much money when they're probably already losing money on this season due to a lack of fans. You can't make them do that. It's not going to happen. So that idea shouldn't even be brought up. In terms of like roster spots, the NBA should add like two more two-way contract spots and just like expand the roster in general. You should be able to have more players so that when these COVID cases do come up, you're not forced to like have games suspended, which makes it both harder on the league and the team. Like, it's gonna suck if your team loses a game because of COVID. I know, but if you add more players, you could at least pick up some more competent guys rather than just having random rookie number 3 who you drafted in the second round who has never played an NBA minute have to play 48 minutes in a game because the rest of your team can't play. So expand the rosters, give more two-way contract stuff. So even if those players aren't getting to play in the NBA, like say a team is like pretty COVID free, then they can at least go play in the G League bubble. I just think that that's something they should do, or at least maybe change the rules of two-way contracts. I think two-way contracts for this season should be eligible for pretty much as much time in the NBA or G League as is needed because these are pretty unprecedented times. Normally, it's only 45 days you can spend in the NBA before they have to stay in the G League for the rest of the season or get signed to an NBA contract. I feel like that there should be some workaround with that. Maybe there already is. Maybe I'm bugging out. I know they did some stuff with two-way contracts before the season, so I might be forgetting that. But I think that some changes are going to have to be made, or else this season's going to go really poorly, really fast. You've already had 3 games suspended, 1 game at the start of the season, the OKC Rockets game, and like I said, 2 games in the past 2 days, plus a flurry of outbreaks. Mavericks had Maxi Kleba, Jason Tatum on the Celtics, multiple players on other teams. Those are just 2 of the more prominent names I can think of right now. Some teams have been more fortunate than others, which kind of hurts those teams that haven't been as fortunate because it's not like the players are going out and trying to get COVID or anything. They're just ending up in these bad situations where one player gets it and then contact tracing goes down like a huge line. And by the end of it, you have 14 different teams that have 1 or 2 players out with COVID. And it just, not only is it not safe for the players because even if it doesn't kill the players or have any like long lasting effects, COVID can still get you pretty good in terms of like these players are running around for 40 minutes a game or whatever. If you're like short of breath or anything like that, it's really going to hinder your performance, which can hurt them for future contracts. It can have future other health defects. It's just not a good situation. So you want to keep the players healthy. You want to keep the league going. And I think that the NBA is going to have to come to a solution. Whether they need that 1 to 2 week period to figure it out, we'll see. But for right now, I think that's about all I wanted to talk about. I just wanted to talk about this COVID situation because it's it's real, and it's going to be around for this season, possibly into next. I hope it's not into next. I was really hopeful that it wouldn't even be an issue this season, but that was back in March when we were all very, very optimistic, and now it's still going on. It's a very real part of our lives now. So I think the NBA and the sports world in general is going to have to learn to work around it and live with it, or otherwise you're going to be screwed. So I think that's about it. Oh, wait, one more thing. The NFL and MLB also had these problems, so I'm not immediately worried that the NBA season is screwed. I'm not like freaking out like it's doomsday or anything like that. Because, like I said, the MLB, the NFL, they started their seasons, they had a bunch of cases. The NFL had a bit easier because they play once a week, so players would only come into contact that one day, and then you would know over the course of the week if they had COVID or not, because you would test them a bunch of times. It would give times for symptoms to pop up, or it would give time, like if you immediately get COVID, you don't test positive like that day sometimes, so it gives them time to like test. The NBA doesn't have that luxury, playing some back to backs, playing like at most you have like one day in between games, so they don't have that luxury. But the MLB had a similar problem with the NBA. They figured it out, and I think that the NBA, with a fantastic group of like, if they were able to organize the bubble, they can organize this. I think they can figure it out. So I wouldn't be super scared right now about the NBA season being over anytime soon, but I would definitely keep an eye on it because something's got to change. And with that, I think that's all I want to talk about. Drop a like, drop a subscribe if you like this type of content. I'm going to hopefully drop a video tomorrow about just kind of like players, or just something like not like recap related as much. Probably around, hopefully around 5 p.m. ish. I have some things I gotta do during the day, so we'll see about that. But anyways, I will see you guys later. Real and say back.